She was playing next door at our neighbor's house. There were a bunch of kids climbing in and on and around a pickup truck, and Wendy was climbing out of the back of the pickup truck over the gate. And one of the girls opened the gate while she was climbing over it. So Wendy pitched forward, face first, hit the edge of the gate with her chin, split it wide open. And the grandmother of some of the kids who was watching thought, oh dear Lord, she's dead. Because her head snapped back really, really hard. When she hit, it just snapped back. And then she crumpled to the cement. Took it a couple seconds later, jumped up and started screaming. And it took 11 stitches to put her chin back together, with 3 of those being on the inside because it was just open so far.
I began teaching her piano a little bit before the accident, and I knew her pretty well before then, as she played with my daughter quite a bit, and I watched their interactions. And then the accident happened. And, you know, there weren't drastic changes right away, but there was a decrease in her capability and coping skills.
There was, you know, she saw a doctor a few times, got stitches, got them removed. Whiplash, we saw a chiropractor. Towards the end of that, both of them mentioned that there might be a delayed reaction concussion. But, you know, it was slow changes. A little here, a little there.
When things didn't go right, or it was someone else's turn, it was harder for her to handle those things.
For a while, wasn't as energetic, but then got really hyperactive. School, it was progressive change.
I have 15 years of teaching experience, particularly with small children and teenagers, and you don't see that in a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old, that their coping skills decrease.
Right before Christmas time, they're like, you know, she's really not fitting in this classroom, it's not working, let's switch her to another classroom. See if it's the kids, the environment, something going on there. But by January, end of January, they said she cannot function in a classroom. Something is going on.
Usually, that's a prime time in a child's life where their coping skills are supposed to multiply, go up 2 or 3 times what they used to be, where that's not what happened with Wendy, and it very much was centered around the incident with the truck.
The school said to be able to offer her full accommodations for what's ever going on, we needed to get her a diagnosis. I went to a doctor who specialized in behavioral issues because it looked like ADHD. And so he gave a tentative diagnosis of ADD, possible ADHD, but wanted her to see a neurologist. And his office called Primary Children's. And then he said we needed to get an MRI. When we got the results for the MRI back, they found no lesions, no growths. So it's good news and bad news. We know that what's going on is not permanent, but it does mean that there's no surgery or pill or quick fix. We have to continue with therapy. I started taking Wendy to brain rehab in early May when I realized that we still had another month before we even saw the neurologist. And then who knew, you know, how long his tests were going to take. Brain rehab is chiropractors who started out treating sports injuries. And these doctors focus on exercises that activate certain parts of the brain. They look at the parts that aren't working and find parts that either activate them, or in Wendy's case, the top of her brain stem, fight or flight, is on all the time. She's very anxious, she's very active, she's moving around a lot, and that's why she has no stress tolerance. So they're doing exercises to strengthen the lower parts of the brain stem so they can help step in and calm down the top. Now that she's been in therapy for 2.5, 3 months, she's a lot calmer. A lot of the ADD tics, constant moving, if you ask her to sit down, the bouncing in the chair or rolling around the floor, running around in circles and spinning was a favorite pastime for quite a while. All of that has stopped.
I didn't notice a drastic change in the improvement as I did, surrounding the incident, which is to be expected. Therapy generally takes longer to come into effect than an injury does. We're getting better. She still has her bad days, but she's coming out of them better, easier, sooner, with less coaching and help from me. There's less hand-holding and dragging along, there's some improvement, but she's got a way to go.
I just want to take a moment to thank everyone who has helped us so far.
Well, thank you so much for the donations that have been coming in. They've made a big difference.
She has improved greatly on this therapy. She still has a ways to go.
The therapies are helping, but we're not there yet. We need a little bit more. Wendy deserves this.
I can't wait until we're at the end of this road.
Wendy is such a sweet girl, and I'd love to have her back the way she was before, and I think this is how we can do it. But we need more help.
And if you would like to start helping, you can donate to our Thundercat page, and also share this. Share her story, get it out to other people who can help.
Any continued support or additional donations are just so appreciated, and they're helping. You're making a difference. Thank you.
Thank you so much.